Hi there, and welcome to the Brad Young channel. Welcome to my Friday Sews. And what have I got this week? Well, I've got a skirt. In fact, I've got two of them. But let's start by saying thank you to Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room for creating the hashtag Friday Sews. So let's have a look at a skirt. So first skirt, number one, is a new look pattern, and it's new look 6744, which is that thing. Now that is a really lovely swishy looking skirt with lots of pleats in it, with this really odd detail there on the waistband. They've got this big sort of waistband on there. Yeah, and that one's in a sort of I think it's sort of a sateen sort of thing, but let's have a look what fabric it suggests making it in, and then I can tell you which fabric I may have foolishly decided on. Right, suggested fabrics, and it says here 60 inch or 150 centimetre wide, and it does have to be, it really does, because of the pattern pieces, such as crepe back satin, duponi, shantung, jacquards, satin, taffeta, and then it says lining, polyester lining fabric. Okay, fine, fantastic. Interfacing, lightweight, fusible, and you need one 9-inch or 23 centimetre invisible zipper. Yeah. Now, okay, let's talk about the pattern first. Right, I've done a mock-up, or I've got part the way through a mock-up, and yeah, interesting. Now, let's start with this bit. Is this the, no, that's the back. Here is the front. So there we go, and this is the front piece, and as you can see, I've done this. It's going to have a high-low hem, so it sweeps up at the front, and then at the back it just goes round, and it's a sort of ordinary, almost straightish, slight curved hem. You know what I mean, like on a normal skirt, but the front does scoop up like this, which is brilliant. I absolutely love that design. I think it's view A, but then I've made it shorter, so that scoop bit comes to about my knees, just sort of on just above my knees, which is how I like it. It's why I prefer it to be. And see, it's got this lovely sort of movement to it. It's got these nice pleats in it, and then you've also got the pleats in this top section, this waistband piece, which is really quite an odd thing. And then you do have a facing piece, and the facing piece will go on the back. Let me just see if I can grab that without making too much noise. Yeah, that's more noise than I wanted. Now, which one is it? That bit. So you got another piece like that, that matches up with the inner bit, so you have that on the inside. So yeah, now issues. There are one or two issues I've noticed as I've been putting this together. Doing the pleating, actually putting the pleats in, these pleats on this top section, actually really quite simple and easy to do. Putting the pleats in the skirt bit, really quite easy to do. And look at it, it's got a lovely movement. This is, by the way, a curtain. I found a pair of curtains, and I thought that'd be brilliant to test out this pattern, because this is like a velvety sort of material, which is what I'm going to be using to make this skirt, is a sort of velvety fabric. You know, I was thinking of using a sateen, but I thought, no, I want to do that velvety. So I bought some velvety. It's a black velvety. I can't show it to you at the moment because it is actually in the washing machine having a little bit of a clean, because I do like to wash fabrics before I use them, and I want to understand how it's going to work. And of course, being a velvety, I've had to put it on a nicer, delicate wash. Delicater? Is that a word? Who knows? Anyway. Yeah, so that's what I'm planning on doing with it. Now, making the mock-up, okay, the pleats were easy to put in. They didn't have a problem with that. I like doing that. But first of all, there's a mismatch in the width. This hangs over quite a bit there, and it shouldn't do. It should come to this end, you know, it should marry up. So two things there. One, the pleats in the skirt section, I've realised that you have to be really accurate about putting those pleats in. You can't be sloppy with it at all, and make sure that they're properly evenly spaced and work well. Any sloppiness and you take up too much of the fabric, then you end up being short against this waistband piece. Secondly, I did actually measure. Let me get it. I measured the actual pleat sections and actually wrote down what the actual measurements are, what that comes to. And I realised that the measurement of this, which is by the way the front, and you cut it on the fold, so it's a huge big piece, do the same on the back as well. But when I look at it, I think, well, actually the numbers don't tally. What it shows is that once you put the pleats in on the front and back sections, that it's now narrower than this waistband section. So basically I've had to remeasure and work out what I want the width of that pleat is, because the pleat bit is this bit at the back that gets tucked away to create that basically like a box pleat, isn't it really, I suppose, to make that work. And I've had to readjust it, so effectively this bit you see is slightly wider and the pleat is slightly narrower, so that it doesn't draw it in too much. Like I say, so I need to make that work, because this waistband piece seems to be the right width. Now the material I'm going to be using does have some stretch to it, so I'll have to be careful about that. So when I make the facing piece, I need to make the facing piece from a material that doesn't have really any stretch in it, so it holds it in place so they don't get it sort of stretching out as I'm wearing it. So that's the front piece, it's got that curvature to it. And then there's the back piece, which again is just the same. It's just a skirt section, which is the skirt back, and the waistband piece. And you get the same effect, don't you? Same thing. Yeah, and then it zips up at the side, so it gets a side zip. Now there are pockets to this, but I'm not popping. Perhaps I just need some new teeth, but never mind. But I'm not putting the pockets in. I've decided I don't want pockets on this, even though it does have pockets that you can put in there. Like I say, and then you have a zip on the one side. The other thing about this is that these, well, they call it a yoke piece. It's like a yoke waistband piece. These are cut on the bias. See, there's an arrow there for the grain. And having cut them, yes, it looks nice, but because I've got a fabric that's already got a natural stretch in it, then I'm actually going to cut it like that, because I know that there's going to be stretch in there, and I don't want it to do it on the bias and have even more stretch, because that just won't help, especially as the facing is going to be something that doesn't have a stretch in it. I just want to try and keep it as simple as possible. So yeah, so that's the couple of things I'm having to consider with that skirt. But generally, the actual sewing of it isn't that difficult. I imagine the hardest part will be putting the zip in, because this stuff, even though this is a curtain material and it is definitely heavier than the fabric I'm going to be using, the velvet still has a more thicker density, a heavier weight to it than say like a normal cotton or something with a bit of, it's lighter with more swish to it. So I'm going to have to be quite careful of that. Otherwise I'm going to have problems getting a zip in there, but hopefully that won't be too bad. And yeah, so that is the skirt that I'm currently working on. I'd really like to hope I want to get it done before the end of next week, but have to see how I go with that. So yeah, that's New Look 6744. Sort of view A, but shorter. Not like the one that the model is wearing, coming down all the way to the floor. That's way too long. I couldn't work with that. That's too much. So yeah, hopefully an enjoyable project that I'm enjoying so far. I just need to push on and get it done. Yeah, in a black velvet fabric. So yeah, skirt number 1. And here is skirt number 2. Now, for those of you who did watch last week's video, you would have seen that I was already making this skirt and it was almost done. And now it is done, completely finished. So let me just tuck this in here so you'll see it a little bit better. And there we go, look. It's my wrap skirt. It's the Simplicity 8133. That thing there, which is a brilliant skirt. I've made it so many times, as I've said before, but with some amendments to it, such as having a lining to it and also having inseam pockets, which I find really handy rather than the patch pocket on the front, and a couple of other little amendments. But yeah, it's now done, it's finished. I have another wrap skirt which I really like. I love this material. It's this amazing, wonderful print. It's the William Morris print. Yeah, which apparently part of the pre-Raphaelite arts and craft movement. Absolutely fantastic. So yeah, a really lovely skirt. It's, like I say, it's a wrap skirt. It comes round with a tie there. Yeah, I really like it. It's a really nice skirt in the way that it fits. And because I always put a hook and bar on this side, this is how it fastens on the side, this side, I can put, well, what I do is I put more than one bar on there. So I've got 2 bars, so I can actually have a little bit of adjustment. If I feel a little bit bloated or something during the day, I can change that out and, you know, have it a little bit looser. And I suppose if you wanted, it's the sort of thing that you could easily have another one, 2 or 3 bars, you know, 3 or 4 bars, or how many you wanted. So you could adjust it however you feel like, really, whatever it's going to work for you. But yeah, a really nice skirt. What I'm going to do is just going to come a little bit closer, adjust that camera so we can have a bit of a close look at it. Yeah, and a little bit of a closer look at it. You can see it's got this really nice. The way that this one with this pattern, you can hardly see that it's a wrap skirt because of the way that that comes across and on this fabric. You know, if you were close enough, then you'd see that, but it's not always not that apparent, is it? You know, and I did try to get it so that the pattern, as you can see, does sit, you know, down the centre front is an even pattern, which I think I pretty much managed to do. I'm not sure if I managed to do it on the back there. I think I've sort of got it sort of even on the back seam as well. But yeah, I'm happy with that. I say with this lovely big tie here. Now, the other thing that I did with this, which is different to ones that I've done before, is that the lining, I've done the lining there, as I always line it, which this skirt doesn't have lining as normal. It's not part of the pattern. The waistband, the inner of the waistband is the lining material and not the fabric material. So if you're using a light enough material, you can get away with using the main material for the lining for the waistband. But I found that sometimes the material that I'm using makes it quite bulky, so it makes it harder to work with, which is why that's there. 1, it's partly decorative, but 2, it also means that when I'm stitching this, when I'm stitching in the ditch on this side, if I run over very slightly, I'm still catching something, because that's always the thing. You stitch in the ditch and you find you've gone off and you're not caught anything and it's all flapping about. So that's what I do with that side. Like I say, there is 2 hooks over here, or 2 bars for the hook and bar. And like I say, inseam pockets, which I love having in this because it makes it so much more useful. Because I always think that a patch pocket can look great on some garments, but once you put things in it, they sort of look bulky on the front, and I don't want that. And again, with the hemming, I've always hemmed it, as I always do, by using bias tape and then, or of some sort, and then turning it up and doing it that way. So I always put this nice colourful sort of bias taping on there. But yeah, all in all, a really nice skirt. And this one's very, very nice because it's William Morris fabric, and I do like it. It's brilliant. So there you have it, 2 skirts, 1 done, 1 in the making. So yeah, I do like skirts. They're quite a nice item of clothing. They're versatile. They're nice and simple to wear. No faffing around. And normally they're quite easy to make. Of course, you know, as sewists are like, we tend to go and then add something or do something that makes it a lot more difficult. But I suppose that's a challenge, isn't it? And then you've got something that's utterly unique, like, you know, like this skirt. I expect there will ever be another one of these skirts just like this in a William Morris fabric. So there we go. Uniqueness. So that was the Simplicity 8133. Yeah. And currently in the make, new look 6744, of which obviously I've given myself a bit of a drama with that, because even though the pattern now I've started on it is actually relatively simple, I feel, I've chosen a fabric that's going to give me some trouble, which is a velvet with some stretch. So I, you know, like I say, give ourselves a bit of a dilemma, but I'm looking forward to getting this done. Hopefully have it done for the next week, by the end of next week. So I really do need to get on with that one, but we'll see how far we get, won't we, with that one as well. Yeah, looking forward to it. And before anybody says, or if anybody has says, or if anybody's noticing, the top I'm wearing, this top actually is not a pattern. I had a top which was very much like this, bought from a shop quite a long time ago, and it started to wear out, fall apart, and I decided I wanted to copy it, so that's exactly what I did. There are some amendments and some things that are a bit different I changed on it just to make it a bit easier to construct. But yeah, it is a definitely me-made top that's copied from an item that I used to have, and yeah, ended up with this, this fabric, black fabric, and it's faded a little bit from black, with these aeroplanes on it, these biplanes, which is brilliant. I love this material, with all these pin tucks, which you can't really see so well, but there are a bunch of pin tucks on there, and that is just a wonderful top. So that's where this top came from. I've got a paper pattern, as it were, of it, and it's the only one in existence. But there you go. And that's it this week, really. That's all I've got to tell you about. Hopefully next week I will be able to show you a Swishy skirt. Let's hope so. And other than that, I think it'll be a quiet week for me. Well, I'll say a quiet week. You know, it's like, it never is. And then, yeah, never mind. Well, there you go. That was my week. That's what I've done. And soldiering on with the skirt next week, and we'll see how far I get. So I think that's about it. If you like this video, please do give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and click that little bell icon. That way you get notifications when my videos come out. Please do comment. I do love reading your comments. It's always nice to read what you're up to and what your thoughts are. And if you wish to comment between yourselves in the comments, then please do, because that's why we come here, to make those connections. So I think it's just left me to say thank you very much for watching my video, and I look forward to seeing my next video. Bye.
Bye.